Hi, I'm Petty Officer Christina Brockman. Join Corporal David Anarino and me on Navy Marine Corps News. This week, we celebrate the Navy's 224th birthday with a look at the Navy's Smart Ship program, helping sailors do their jobs more efficiently. And we take a look at the future of Navy aircraft with the FA-18E&F Super Hornet. We'll also take you to a naval home in Gulfport, Mississippi, where the past comes to life through the eyes of Naval Service veterans. These stories and more on Navy Marine Corps News.
This week on Navy Marine Corps News, we celebrate the Navy's 224th birthday with a look at the Navy's Smart Ship program, helping sailors do their jobs more efficiently. We take a look at the future of Navy aircraft with the FA-18E&F Super Hornet, due to hit the fleet soon. We also take you to the naval home in Gulfport, Mississippi, where the past comes to life through the eyes of Naval Service veterans. These stories and more next on this Navy birthday edition of Navy Marine Corps News.
Happy birthday. For 224 years, the Navy has always been there for America. The institution is older than the Republic. All these years, it has served the nation extraordinarily. I know you haven't individually been there for those 224 years, but every one of you individually is contributing to the much larger achievement that we provide this country. So join in the celebration over this time. We may not have a birthday cake for you. It may just be mid-rats. If you're lucky, maybe sliders. But the reality is it is a celebration of you. It's a celebration of everyone who came before you. It's a celebration of everyone who's there with you. Happy birthday.
Welcome to the birthday edition of Navy Marine Corps News. Hi, I'm Corporal David Anarino.
And I'm Petty Officer Christina Brockman. This week we come to you from the Navy Museum at the historic Washington Navy Yard in the nation's capital.
As the Navy celebrates 224 years of service to our nation, it also marks the beginning of a major advancement in technology aboard the Navy ships.
Once testing is complete, more ships will be outfitted with many of the new labor-saving technologies.
Petty Officer Nico Melendez has the scoop on the newest smart ship, USS Ticonderoga.
The Smart Ship project, first tested aboard USS Yorktown, introduced 100 manpower-saving ideas that the Navy has evaluated for use on other ships.
Of those over 100 ideas, the Navy looked at them, studied Yorktown for those 2 years, and condensed it down to 7 core technologies. And those 7 core technologies make up what we refer to as the Smart Ship technologies, and that's what I'm getting put on board Ticonderoga.
These new technologies that make Ticonderoga smarter are mostly computers, running operating systems modified to do the specialized things that a warship needs, such as controlling engines, monitoring for fire or flooding, and navigation.
What the guys used to do on the charts on the paper on the table, well, we have it now in the computer system.
These technologies will save countless man-hours on board ship.
So one operator can now perform the job that before would take 7 operators. For instance, on the bridge, you're down to 2 watch stations. In CCS, you're only down to 4 watch stations.
The centralized computer control of ship systems also allows more time for training.
We can get more cross-training done. We can get people qualified in other watch stations that they normally wouldn't be able to do. And that's going to make the ship more efficient as a whole.
Ticonderoga deploys next year as the flagship for Standing Naval Forces Atlantic, which will allow the crew to flex its smart ship muscles in a multi-ship environment. Petty Officer Nico Melendez, Navy Marine Corps News.
That looks like a great ship to be stationed on.
Yeah, it sure does. And the Navy needs smart sailors to run its smart ships.
In fact, more than 80% of new sailors report they want to earn college credit while in the Navy.
The Navy is consolidating all existing voluntary education programs into a single program to help sailors in their pursuit of higher education.
Petty Officer Kathy Thomas tells us about the new Navy college program.
Sailors wanting a college degree can expect the new Navy college program to point them in the right direction.
We believe that it will help provide focus for our sailors who want to get a college degree on their own time, at their own pace, both ashore and while they're deployed. And it will also help them identify rating-specific college degree programs to minimize their off-duty educational requirements.
Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Jay Johnson, says the time is right for an enhanced college program.
Well, we're starting it now because, one, the technology, for instance, is going to allow us to do it in ways that we've never been able to before, and two, because the Navy, the men and women in the Navy, say education inside the lifelines of the Navy is very important to them. So we're wrapping it all together. We've got new initiatives going. It's going to be a wonderful home run program for the Navy. And it'll kick off here with the first phase starting in October. We're very excited about it.
As part of the new Navy college program, the Navy is working with colleges and universities to develop degrees based on Navy ratings and then provide sailors with roadmaps to follow for their degree regardless of their duty station. It will build on the existing Service Members Opportunity College Navy, or SOCNAV.
But we'll be expanding our network to have even more partner colleges and universities looking for ways to grant as much credit as possible for Navy training and to be as liberal as possible in transferring credit among each other, so that as you travel around the world, you don't have to worry about starting all over again with a new college.
Recommended credits for Navy training and work experience will be tracked on the Sailor Marine American Council Education Registry Transcript, or SMART.
SMART will be a conglomeration of all of the training that they have had in the Navy, all of their experience that they have had, and it will be accepted at institutions where they may be going to college at in the future.
New recruits and sailors graduating from service schools will automatically receive a summary of recommended college credit earned. Fleet sailors can request their transcripts from their local Navy College Program Office or from the new Navy College Center in Pensacola.
We'll be open 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. Sailors will be able to call in with their questions from anywhere in the world with a worldwide 1-800 number. We'll have fax, email capability to exchange information, as well as a pretty awesome website that'll be maintained from the center.
Navy campuses are being renamed Navy College offices as part of the new Navy College program, and the services will be standardized throughout the Navy. The new program is also providing the Navy College offices with more people and better training, all to help them serve the fleet better.
Oh, that's the great thing about this, because every Navy campus program that people are using now is going to continue. In fact, they're going to get a lot better.
The new program makes collecting your credits easier and provides you with more choices, but it still takes your motivation and study to get your degree.
Will that guarantee them a degree? No, it won't. But we'll tell that young American that while you're in the military, while you're serving your country in the Navy, you will be earning some form of college credit.
And because Navy leadership thinks education makes better sailors, every sailor has the support of the Navy's leadership.
I love this program. I love it because it takes a good thing we're already doing, which is providing excellent training, and then it makes it better by giving college credits for that training. We've taken a good thing and made it twice as good. And then we've said to every sailor out there, we've increased your potential. We'll give you distance learning, we'll give you training, we'll give you tuition assistance, we'll give you a leg up towards a college degree. It's now up to you to lift that other leg and take advantage of these kinds of opportunities. I think it's a terrific thing.
For more information on the Navy College program, visit your local Navy College office or check out the Navy College Center's new website. Send them an email or give them a call. Petty Officer Kathy Thomas, Navy Marine Corps News.
I am definitely looking forward to using that program. Anything that makes it easier for us to get college degrees sounds good to me.
Absolutely. Hey, stick around, because when we return, we'll take a look at the FA-18 E&F Super Hornet.
Stay right there.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Where there was once only a wall, there appears a door. You take a deep breath and walk through to the other side. Things are very different here. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. Instead of waiting, you're moving. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school, because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
As we celebrate the Navy's 224th birthday, I'd like each of you to take a moment to reflect on what you have accomplished during what can only be described as another remarkable and very busy year for our Navy. Whether you were forward deployed in the Adriatic, Arabian Gulf, Atlantic, Western Pacific, or Caribbean, or ashore, either turning around for deployment or supporting those who were, and that's all of us, by the way, you have continued to demonstrate the Navy's relevance as we head into the 21st century. Throughout the year, our forward presence, forward engagement, and ability to respond to the full spectrum of crises have kept us at the forefront of America's vital interests around the globe. Our successes, out forward and at home, have been the direct result of your remarkable skill and dedication. You are the finest Navy men and women the world has ever seen, and you do incredibly important work for Navy and country each and every day. You should be very proud of that. As we pause to celebrate our last birthday in this century, just think what a difference this Navy has made to the world in the past 100 years, and imagine the challenges and opportunities which lie ahead for us. I'm proud to be a part of this great Navy with you, and I thank you for your service. Happy birthday, Navy. Now let's blow out those 224 candles.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps News.
Earlier in the show, we took a look at modern technology on the sea with the Navy's Smart Ship.
And the aviation community can soon look forward to a new high-tech aircraft above the sea.
It's called the Super Hornet, and as Petty Officer Chris Robinson reports, this plane will live up to its name when it joins the fleet.
It's been 7 years in the making and 3 years in flight testing. Now, the largest version of the new FA-18 has taken to the sky for an operational evaluation at China Lake, California. And this may be the best one yet.
This airplane is literally a Super Hornet. It has more gas, it has an ability to carry a lot more ordnance. It's a much more survivable airplane and a lot of room to grow.
The Super Hornet has been tested in a variety of locations. Aside from the desert at China Lake, it's seen several environments, including trials at sea.
Another thing that's very important to us is how well it flies on and off the boat. You know, that's the bread and butter environment that this airplane is going to live in day out, so that's very important to us as well.
While a carrier flight deck is a far cry from the China Lake Desert Flats, sailors involved in the operational eval are driven by the importance of their mission.
They're very excited to be part of the ENF program, you know, which is the front line for the Navy right now. It's a very important thing. They're happy to be here, you know, glad to be a part of this piece of naval history.
I've been in the Navy 5 years, and to get enough training to be selected to work on this. I thank the Navy for selecting me to do it.
There's no doubt the fighter represents a new chapter in naval aviation history, and sailors here can't wait to see that chapter written. Until then, the Super Hornet will continue to be tested.
This is the way we would operate the airplane in the fleet, and now we're seeing how well it works as a weapon system and as an airplane.
And if things go well, sailors will see the Super Hornet when it hits the fleet in 2002. Petty Officer Chris Robinson, Navy Marine Corps News.
While the Super Hornet is cutting-edge technology for the new millennium, the ironclad ships Monitor and Merrimack were the first of their kind during the Civil War.
The Monitor has been on the ocean floor off the coast of North Carolina for more than 130 years.
But recently, some Navy divers visited Monitor using some high-tech diving equipment.
Petty Officer Kimberly Vore takes us to the bottom of the ocean to show us what they found.
After more than 130 years at the bottom of the ocean, the ironclad Monitor recently had sailors on board. But this time they were Navy divers on a mission to help preserve the ship's wreckage.
Well, our mission for this trip was to survey the wreck itself, determine its deterioration ratings, and to take surveys of areas and equipment still on board and intact for future recovery effort. We're the only ones with the mixed gas equipment and expertise to take on a mission such as the Monitor itself.
As the only unit equipped with a mixed gas system, the Mudsuit 2 team was the most capable choice for the mission,
110!
which required the divers to spend long periods of time on the ocean floor.
The system is for deep dives up to 300 feet, but you can also do shallower dives for longer periods of time than you could actually do on air.
This mission gave the divers a chance to learn about their new equipment. It wasn't Mudsuit 2's first experience with the Monitor. They salvaged the ship's anchor in 1998 and have continued to map the ship's deterioration rate and stabilize the site.
The Monitor Marine Sanctuary, it's a pretty unique place where we have a chance to go back and actually view and dive on a piece of Navy history itself. You know, it's one of the first very beginnings of Navy sea power was the USS Monitor.
The use of new technology, like the mixed gas system, helps sailors to shape the future while learning about the past. I'm Petty Officer Kimberly Vore, Navy Marine Corps News.
You know, it's great that we have the technology to find and preserve such an important part of our naval history.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see how much of the ship is still there after all that time.
Well, stay right where you are, because when we return, we'll visit some retired sailors at the U.S. Naval Home in Mississippi.
We'll be right back.
Get your $19.99 any day in the Navy edition of All Hands Magazine. $19.99 any day in the Navy edition of All Hands Magazine.
I remember the look on my father's face because he knew I was going to go to college.
I'm practically going to school for free. I received a scholarship from the United States Navy. Navy paid for my tuition. They paid for my books.
And they're actual college professors that come aboard to teach us while underway.
The Navy wants you to go to school. It wants you to succeed, and it strongly promotes that.
Hello, shipmates. Mick Ponhert here. I'd like to wish all of you a hearty happy birthday this week as the Navy turns 224 years old. It was October 13, 1775 that men first took to the seas to establish our independence and build this great country. Over the years, sailors have endured hardships we can't possibly fathom today. These great men and women, proud to be called United States sailors, built us the most powerful Navy in the history of the world. This week, I challenge each of you to get involved in the birthday celebration and take a little extra time to explore and appreciate the amazingly proud heritage our Navy enjoys. As our sailor's creed states, I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me to defend freedom and democracy around the world. We must uphold this challenge in our every action. Happy birthday, and I'll see you about the fleet.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps News.
This week we're celebrating 224 years of naval history with a look at our past, present, and future.
And one place where our history comes to life is the U.S. Naval Home in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Petty Officer Chris Avant introduces us to one of its residents, a retired sailor, who takes us on a tour of his home.
The U.S. Navy Home is located near Gulfport, Mississippi, facing the 26-mile beach off Highway 90. It's nestled on a lush but well-manicured landscape. It houses over 460 veterans, 64% of them Navy. It is also the home of this retired Chief Petty Officer.
Welcome aboard. My name is Red Hammock, and I'm your tour guide for today, and I want to show you around and give you a good impression of my little hacienda here where I live.
And it is a home he is proud of.
My wife died in '94, and I came over here. It's the best move I ever made outside of marrying her.
The Navy home offers a comfortable living for retirees. It has all of the amenities you'd expect of a retirement home: a church, a swimming pool, a small gym.
Got to build these up in case I have to protect myself sometime, you know.
And a Navy exchange.
I'm sidewalk sale, Navy Exchange, Naval Home.
He works in the Navy.
My name is Alfred Lloyd. I've been here 14 years.
He works
Anything else
in
you want to know about me? I was a boatswain in the Navy.
And it's the residents who make the Navy home a nice place to retire.
This is where I live. The home furnishes good furniture, good beds and everything. But when I decided I'm going to be here the rest of my life, I had a room carpeted, bought my own furniture, put me a Murphy bed there so I could have more room to walk around. You know.
Red and the other residents of the Navy home have lived the history of our Navy and our nation, and they'd be happy to share it with you. Red served aboard USS Sterett in World War II.
Now, we sunk 2 destroyers by ourselves. We helped sink a third one, helped sink a cruiser, and helped sink a battleship. So that was a pretty good record for that little old tin can.
Like many World War II vets, Red has a number of certificates and commendations.
Went up almost to the North Pole. Blue Note certificate.
He even earned a Purple Heart.
Doc said, "What happened, Red?" And I said, "I got shot in the butt." Well, what I did is I got 3 pieces of shrapnel, one in my leg, one a tick in my butt, and one in my elbow.
As Red and his fellow residents are a part of our naval history, the Navy home itself is virtually a naval and military history museum with art and photographs featuring the famous.
Here's Arleigh Burke's picture. I knew that wrestler when he was a JG.
And the not so famous.
Hey, here's the old chief blowing his bugle. Told you he was 100 years old. But he don't blow his bugle anymore. He finally ran out of wind.
After reliving memories with Red, our tour came to an end, but not without a fond appreciation for the men and women of the Navy home who have served the nation so proudly.
You're making me real happy to be the one that showed you around, you know. Enjoyed it very much. And hope you come back to see me sometime.
Hope I can take you up on that invitation, Red. I enjoyed it too. Petty Officer Chris Avant, Navy Marine Corps News.
125 years after the birth of our Navy came another very important milestone.
The birth of our submarine force.
Subs have been part of our Navy for almost 100 years now, and like our other ships and weapons, they've evolved over the years. The Navy bought its first submarine 99 years ago for $160,000 from its inventor, John Holland. USS Holland weighed 64 tons and was powered by a gasoline engine. But because gasoline posed such a high risk of fire or explosion, American designers soon adopted a diesel engine. During World War I, subs were divided into 2 categories: those patrolling American coasts and those patrolling hostile European waters. And had it been up to designers in the early 1920s, submarines today might be more like aircraft carriers. Submarine S-1 was tested with a small scout plane. In World War II, submarines played a vital role, destroying 1,314 ships, accounting for 55% of all enemy ships lost. In fact, in the final months of the war, submarines had difficulty finding targets because the Japanese had virtually no ships left to sink. After World War II, submarine designers focused on faster submerged speeds. Experiments of the Navy's David Taylor Model Basin led to new hull designs. That, coupled with the development of the first nuclear-powered submarine, USS Nautilus, revolutionized underwater warfare. In 1959, the world was introduced to USS George Washington, the world's first nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. At the end of the Cold War, the submarine force increased its mission to include intelligence gathering. In fact, the number of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions has doubled since 1989 due to an increase in hotspots. And the use of Tomahawks in those hotspots has also increased. In Desert Storm, submarines launched less than 5% of the Tomahawks successfully fired, but that dramatically increased to nearly 25% during Operation Allied Force in Kosovo. In 1997, USS Seawolf entered the fleet. The completely new design of Seawolf makes it the fastest, quietest, and most heavily armed sub in the world. Virginia-class submarines are the most recent development in underwater warfare. These subs will be able to carry 16 Tomahawk missiles and even specially developed mini-subs, which can take special forces hundreds of miles to their landing sites. There's a lot of interesting history that I didn't have time to mention, but if you'd like to learn more, go to the Navy's homepage at www.navy.mil and click on Submarine Centennial.
While there, you can also find out about the events planned for the Centennial celebration.
And that's not all you'll find on the Navy's homepage.
So let the tour begin. Take it away, Cyber Sailor.
Welcome aboard the Navy homepage, where the entire fleet is at your fingertips. Have you ever wondered how many ships are in the Navy? How about the number of people running those ships? This section called Status of the Navy is loaded with detailed information. My favorite part of this site is the photographs. Not because I'm a photographer, but because these photos are hand-picked by Navy News photo experts. These are the same photos you'll see in newspapers and magazines around the world. They might even be your photos. Along with the Navy's birthday, we are also celebrating the 100th birthday of the Navy submarine fleet. You can share the fun and excitement of this momentous occasion through a direct link to the Centennial homepage. Then, find out what a great benefit the Lifelines Mall can be to you, the military member. And if you can't find a certain Navy page that you're looking for, go to the Site Index, where you will find the latest and greatest websites like the Navy Personnel Command homepage or the Mighty Blue Angel site. Do you want to know what happened today in U.S. naval history? The Naval Historical Center has the answer, along with other great facts and traditions. So go to the Navy homepage and celebrate 224 years of our proud Navy history. I'm Petty Officer Joe Hendricks, Navy Marine Corps News.
Well, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed our celebration of the Navy's 224th birthday.
If you have any questions or comments about Navy Marine Corps News, email us at the address on the screen.
Or give us a call.
We'd like to thank the Navy Museum for providing such a great setting for this birthday show.
If you'd like to learn more about the museum, go to www.history.navy.mil and click on Navy Museum.
You can even take a virtual tour while you're there.
We leave you with an exciting look at our Navy.
Until next week.
Take care and happy birthday.
The Smart Ship project, first tested aboard USS Yorktown, introduced 100 manpower-saving ideas that the Navy has evaluated for use on other ships.
Of those over 100 ideas, the Navy looked at them, studied Yorktown for those 2 years, and condensed it down to 7 core technologies. And those 7 core technologies make up what we refer to as the Smart Ship technologies, and that's what I'm getting put on board Ticonderoga.
These new technologies that make Ticonderoga smarter are mostly computers, running operating systems modified to do the specialized things that a warship needs, such as controlling engines, monitoring for fire or flooding, and navigation.
What the guys used to do on the charts on the paper, on the table, well, we have it now in the computer system.
These technologies will save countless man-hours on board ship.
So one operator can now perform the job that before would take 7 operators. For instance, on the bridge, you're down to 2 watch stations. In CCS, you're only down to 4 watch stations.
The centralized computer control of ship systems also allows more time for training.
We can get more cross-training done. We can get people qualified in other watch stations that they normally wouldn't be able to do. And that's going to make the ship more efficient as a whole.
Ticonderoga deploys next year as the flagship for Standing Naval Forces Atlantic, which will allow the crew to flex its smart ship muscles in a multi-ship environment. Petty Officer Nico Melendez, Navy Marine Corps News.
It's been 7 years in the making and 3 years in flight testing. Now, the largest version of the new FA-18 has taken to the sky for an operational evaluation at China Lake, California. And this may be the best one yet.
This airplane is literally a Super Hornet. It has more gas, it has an ability to carry a lot more ordnance. It's a much more survivable airplane and a lot of room to grow.
The Super Hornet has been tested in a variety of locations. Aside from the desert at China Lake, it's seen several environments, including trials at sea.
Another that's very important to us is how well it flies on and off the boat. You know, that's the bread and butter environment that this airplane is going to live in day in, day out, so that's very important to us as well.
While a carrier flight deck is a far cry from the China Lake Desert Flats, sailors involved in the operational eval are driven by the importance of their mission.
They're very excited to be part of the ENF program, you know, which is the front line for the Navy right now. It's a very important thing. They're happy to be here, you know, glad to be a part of this piece of naval history.
I've been in the Navy 5 years, and to get enough training to be selected to work on this. I thank the Navy for selecting me to do it.
There's no doubt the fighter represents a new chapter in naval aviation history, and sailors here can't wait to see that chapter written. Until then, the Super Hornet will continue to be tested.
This is the way we would operate the airplane in the fleet, and now we're seeing how well it works as a weapon system and as an airplane.
And if things go well, sailors will see the Super Hornet when it hits the fleet in 2002. Petty Officer Chris Robinson, Navy Marine Corps News.
Welcome aboard the Navy homepage, where the entire fleet is at your fingertips. Have you ever wondered how many ships are in the Navy? How about the number of people running those ships? This section called Status of the Navy is loaded with detailed information. My favorite part of this site is the photographs. Not because I'm a photographer, but because these photos are hand-picked by Navy News photo experts. These are the same photos you'll see in newspapers and magazines around the world. They might even be your photos. Along with the Navy's birthday, we are also celebrating the 100th birthday of the Navy submarine fleet. You can share the fun and excitement of this momentous occasion through a direct link to the Centennial homepage. Then, find out what a great benefit the Lifelines Mall can be to you, the military member. And if you can't find a certain Navy page that you're looking for, go to the Site Index, where you will find the latest and greatest websites like the Navy Personnel Command homepage or the Mighty Blue Angel site. Do you want to know what happened today in U.S. naval history? The Naval Historical Center has the answer, along with other great facts and traditions. So go to the Navy homepage and celebrate 224 years of our proud Navy history. I'm Petty Officer Joe Hendricks, Navy Marine Corps News.